Hey guys, this is Garden Angel, or Guardian Angel, whichever you prefer. I'm back with another visual novel series, I guess. I'm here with a video, with a game called Artificial Mansion. You may have heard of it before. It's about maybe around $3 on Steam. It's a visual novel. One of my friends gave me a code to it so I can play it for free. Even though it was only $3 and it wouldn't have made much of a difference, to be honest. But I thought to celebrate my graduation, I would play it after so long of saying I would. The thing is, me and my sister thought we were going to play it together, but we don't know how that's gonna work. So, yeah, here it is. Alright, so let's go. And I got my water, just in case. I stand in front of the gate leading to my uncle's mansion with some apprehension. This is not how I wanted to return. I was hoping for a grand welcome. My uncle usually comes outside with his arms outstretched, welcoming me inside of his home with delight. He didn't receive very many visitors in the past, despite how grandiose people had assumed his lifestyle was. I remember my uncle, Walter. I remember my uncle, Walter, telling me that it was okay by... excuse me. Telling me that was okay by him because it meant that he had more time to spend with the people who really cared about him. Sorry, I dropped my lid from my water. Now, there is no one here to welcome me. I will be living at this mansion completely on my own for the foreseeable future. I honestly didn't think it'd be so hard to see the mansion once my uncle's funeral was over, but the memories hit me harder than the speeches and crying relatives. I'm waiting to feel my uncle's embrace as he tells me how excited he is to see me. The sensation never comes. He's gone forever. I clutch my suitcase tighter and roll past the gate. My suitcase suddenly feels heavier. It too is weighed down by the memories of my uncle. Seeing the giant building in front of me, I'm reminded of my uncle's opulence. He was a very successful businessman. Opulence? I've never heard that word before. Oh well. My uncle Walter toiled for decades to get this house, which is probably why he loved it so much. It represents all that his life was, impressive but hidden. Not very many people got to see past this front door. Not very many people tried to. Maybe that's why it hurts so much more being here in person. I know what is inside. I will open the door and see nothing but loneliness. Everything will be a reminder of time spent in the past. Times that I can never return to. When I left to attend university, I was on cloud 9. I thought that nothing could go wrong. I was making a future for myself and I felt invincible. That kind of thinking was selfish. I only realized that later, when I got the news of my uncle's sudden heart attack. Life is short. I spent too much time away from the people I loved, and I'm paying the price for it now. I take a seat on the front porch to gather my thoughts. I can see why my uncle wanted to live out here. It is so peaceful being surrounded by nature. There are no loud trains and buses trudging by, or people arguing on their cell phones. Maybe the quiet isn't such a bad thing after all. Though, I worry the isolation will make me lonely. It's just spit. Sorry. I wonder what my uncle Walter did to keep himself busy. He was probably always working. Still, there must have been something he did for fun besides staying in all the time. I stand up and dust my pants off. There's no use staying out here. I should probably head inside or check the greenhouse that my uncle had written to me excitedly about in our last chapter. And our last letter. What the... Okay. First, what's the word? First choice. Sorry, I'm a tiny bit tired, but we're good. First choice. Greenhouse or the inside? I want to go to the greenhouse personally because I love plants and stuff like that. I decided to go to the greenhouse. I haven't ever been in it before. When I was a child, there was a section of the backyard that was always blocked off. Now I finally understand why. In my Uncle Walter's letter, he told me about how he hadn't wanted to unveil the personal project until it was complete. To my knowledge, no one but him has been in there. I'm kind of excited to see what he has done with the place. The greenhouse is even more beautiful than I imagined it to be. The entrance is marked by a simple yet elegant clear door, and plants in sleek, standing metallic planters. I followed the paved stone path through the greenhouse, stopping by a shiny new bench. I sit down and stretch my legs out. So Uncle Walter liked the plant, huh? Who knew? It's strange, but I can't help but picture how happy this garden must have made my uncle. My mind wanders to the amount of hours he must have spent picking out seeds, watering plants, and building the structures for this place. I'm impressed. I just wish that Uncle Walter had shared this side of himself sooner, when people could actually enjoy it with him. I'm going to make sure that this place gets the attention and love that it deserves. After spending some time admiring the plants, it's finally time to head inside the mansion. Sorry. I take in the breathtaking beauty of the foyer. I've heard that's how it's spelled, how it's said. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure, though. The mansion is much bigger than I remember. It's probably because there's nobody walking around with their nose in a book, or humming a tune as they stir their world-famous stew. I can't believe this place is really mine. I knew that because Uncle Walter had no kids. There was a chance he'd pass the place down to me. I didn't think it'd be so soon. The walls are pristine, as if someone has been taking great care of this place. My uncle didn't hire any help. He said it was an expense he didn't need. I think it was because he was afraid of letting people in. Honestly, I feel like I'm walking into a hotel. Everything is cold and impersonal. I knew my uncle to be different than that. He cared very deeply for others, especially his family. Though there aren't any family heirlooms or photographs displayed proudly, those are all in his office and bedroom, the closest places to him. On the usually empty table in the center of the room is a sealed envelope. My name scrawled across it in my uncle's sloppy shorthand My name scrawled across it in my uncle's sloppy shorthand grows bigger as I draw near. A letter from me? What else does my uncle want to tell me that he hadn't had the chance to already? I carefully tear open the front, keeping the signature untouched. My eyes begin to tear up as I read the letter. Dear Reuben, if you're reading this letter, it means that I'm no longer alive. Hopefully, I'm in heaven right now, reading this letter over your shoulder. If my lawyers did everything correctly, you should be standing in the foyer of your new home. Take it all in. The stunning columns, the beautiful lighting, and those sparkling marble floors. It's a work of art, isn't it? I remember when I first acquired this place. It was abandoned. The gates were weathered, there were vines crawling up the crumbling walls, and weeds were overgrown everywhere. On my hands and knees, I cut the dead grass and yanked out the weeds. I called a contractor and got this place to the way you see it today. It was a real fixer-upper, but that's not why I bought it. Some people like to do that, fix things. I mean, I bought the mansion because I saw a beautiful property being neglected. I saw a house that was being overlooked because of some tasteless rumor. People called the place haunted because the last owners went missing. I haven't seen anything out of the ordinary. And even if the mansion harbored restless spirits to begin with, it wouldn't prevent me from buying the property. It'd be a shame to pass over such a gem. Reuben, I've spent decades cultivating this place, and I see no one else more fitting and more deserving to own it, aside from you. Besides the fact that I don't actually have a son to pass this magnificent mansion down to, I know that you will treat my former dwelling with respect. It's not just a house, Reuben. It's a home. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Ah, jeez. It deserves to be lived in the way I never could. Throw up some photos. The walls have been looking a little bare anyway. I love you, kid. Do some great things, and don't waste any tears on me. I'm happy. Your uncle, Walter. Crap. Oh. Okay, we're good. Even though he says not to waste any tears on him. Ah, stop it. Ah. I can't stop the waterfall from cascading down my face. An overwhelming sense of guilt washes over me. I should have come visit him during my summer breaks. He could have told me all these things about the mansion himself. I already knew some of it, but I would have liked to hear the passion in his voice as he spoke about the place. I'll make you proud, Uncle. I promise. I fold up the letter and place it as carefully into the remains of the envelope as I can. More than ever, I'm excited to see what my uncle has done to the other rooms while I've been gone. My first stop is going to his office. It's going to be his office. It seems only right, considering how much time he spent in there during the course of his life. I'm hit with a sudden wave of nostalgia as I enter the office. It's like I can almost hear my Uncle Walter typing away on his laptop. Or old-fashioned typewriter. I half expect to hear his voice welcoming me as he always did when I came to visit. But I'm reminded that no one's here. He isn't sitting as it... Ouch. I cut my pinky earlier while I was doing dishes. So, yeah. That's why I was like, ouch. But I'm fine, so we're good. Okay, he isn't sitting at his desk toiling away. Ouch. It doesn't really feel like he's gone. All of his stuff is here untouched. Papers spread across the desk as if someone is going to come in and use all of it at some point. There's a teapot on a small table, with 2 empty glasses beside it. It wouldn't be surprising to me if the teapot is full. The bookshelf is stacked with books haphazardly, while some are completely lined up with their spines out. Others are strewn about wherever there is room. The neat books were what he called his showpieces. Question: why is it that even though his uncle lived alone, there are 2 glasses for the tea? Is that a coincidence or not? I don't think he ever took those books out of their places and actually read them. The other books are ones he must have used for work. This room has been lived in, unlike the foyer, which seems to only be for decoration. At this point, I have the urge to head over to the library. Oh, excuse me. When I was younger and would visit my Uncle Walter, he would send me to the library to read from his massive collection of books so he could finish his work. I give the office one more silent look over, before respectfully stepping out in search of the library. I'm still wondering why there were 2. I don't like this library. I don't like that long corridor type thing. Can you put some lights in there? That would be nice. Ouch. I keep accidentally squeezing it because I do that. I mess with my fingers when I'm nervous or antsy. The musty smell of old books feels like home, though there are over a dozen shelves. Be right back. My curtain's open. I don't like it. Though there are over a dozen shelves, I know exactly where my favorite books are. In the second to last shelf, on the left side of the room, there are tons of mystery books. As a child, I would sit on the floor against the bookshelf with a stack of books next to me. We're good. Then I would read the blurbs. the blurbs on the backs of the books out loud as if there were some kind of invisible audience waiting for me with bated breath to choose. The mystery books always caught my attention because the author wasn't treating me to become involved in the story. They were laying the clues out, and I'd have the opportunity to piece them together. Like there being 2 cups. It certainly kept me busy while my uncle was working. I remember at first feeling a little disappointed when I would see my uncle caught up in something, too busy to spend time with me. But then, as I got older, I realized that he wasn't shooing me to the library because he didn't want to spend time with me. It was because he could see how much I loved reading and writing. I'm very thankful for his intuition and generosity. I've never had anywhere near the number of books at home that my uncle has here. Before I can even realize it, I'm standing in front of the very bookshelf that held the beginning of my future. My hand glides across the spines of the books. I've read at least half of these, and while I'm living here, I'm going to read the other half, whether it's by habit or for old time's sake. I begin to take books off the shelf and collapse to the ground. I leave them stacked next to me, and one by one, I begin to read the blurbs out loud. I know that no one can hear me, but the sound fills the lonely, dark room and gives me a sense of peace. About a half hour passes. I should really get up and finish my impromptu house tour. I place the books back on their shelves and head out of the room. My next stop is the lounge, because it's the closest to the library. There really are a lot of rooms in this house. The lounge looks like something out of a movie. There's a bar in the back of the room, and couches and chairs scattered about. I can't imagine my uncle ever having that many visitors over to actually fill the chairs. But I'm sure he enjoyed a drink or two by the home bar. This wouldn't be a bad place to read all those books from the library. The couches are probably more comfortable than the floor, and the lighting is much better for my eyes. Though, now that I think about it, the charm of reading all those mystery books wasn't solving the cases. It was being transported into another world, but still being surrounded by the darkness in all those books. On the other hand, if I bring my laptop here, I can definitely get some writing done. My thoughts are interrupted by my stomach loudly growling. Oh, I almost forgot. I brought food with me. I should put it away before it goes bad. With that thought in mind, I make my next destination the dining room. There aren't exactly any restaurants in walking distance of the mansion. I imagine when it was built all those years ago, the owners had a kitchen staff who made them food on the property. Since I'm all alone, I guess I'm doing all the jobs, including stocking the fridge and preparing food. I actually brought a lot of food with me. My mother insisted that I have a well-stocked fridge, especially for the first week of being here, as I'd be adjusting to the new environment and may not want to head out. Living away from home in a cramped dorm room for the past few years, I learned that making your own food is way cheaper than eating out all the time anyway. It takes me about an hour to sort through all the food I have been brought and neatly pile it into the fridge and pantry. Then it takes me another half hour to prepare lunch for myself. Now I'm sitting by myself at the dining table with a plate of food in front of me, while my stomach is excited to be eating. I can't help but feel a little apprehension. This is the first time that I'm eating alone like this. Sure, when I was in college, I often sat in my dorm room by myself and ate while studying, but this is different. In college, if I wanted to talk to someone, there was always a person nearby. In this mansion, it's painfully clear that I'm the only one here. I wonder how Uncle Walter did it. Because even though I sometimes crave solitude, I know that having nothing but silence would be a little too much for me to handle. Maybe once I'm settled, I should invite some friends and family over. I mull the idea over my head while I eat my delicious personal pizza. When I'm done, I clean up my dishes and head to the door. I should probably put my suitcases away finally and settle into my room. Oops. The light shining into my room through the giant window is a welcome sight. The sunlight makes me feel so much happier. I groan thinking about how I'm going to have to unpack my suitcases now. I guess the good thing is that I've only got to do it once. Still, I'm so tired. Did I seriously bring that much stuff? It's already pretty dark out. I should get changed into my PJs. I collapse into my bed and think about today. My uncle left me a tremendous place, which I'm beyond grateful for. I'm looking forward to what tomorrow and the future brings. I close my eyes and let sleep take me away for the night. Alright, I'm going to save. Actually, just quick save. Because there's no decisions or anything. While the light shining into my room yesterday was a welcoming sight, I just wanted to go away now. I pulled the blanket over my head and shut my eyes again. As much as my body is telling me to go back to sleep, the anticipation of owning a mansion weighs heavily on my mind. While I don't have much left to do in terms of unpacking, my mind won't stop rambling. So even though there's not really anything for me to do right now, I can't go back to sleep. I know that feeling, like, holy crap. My thoughts rush through my mind, and I can't get them to stop. I usually read a book. Books allow me to be sucked into a different world for a short time. They are a good distraction. I think I should go back to the library. I really do want to make it my goal to finish reading all those mystery books that my uncle has on his shelf. At least that will give me a goal for restless mornings like this one. I lazily drag my body to my wardrobe and pull out the outfit that I'm going to wear today. It just doesn't feel right to roam a mansion as beautiful as this in just my green plaid pajama bottoms. When I'm happy with the outfit I've chosen, I head to the door and towards the library. A feeling of warmth fills my chest. I can't help but feel at home in the library. I don't think that feeling will ever wear off, which I'm totally fine with. My feet pull me towards the back shelf, where I know the mystery books are waiting for me. Once there, I peruse the selection. What kind of world do I want to be sucked into this morning? A classic detective noir, perhaps? Sure, why not? It seems fitting in this dark corner. I settle down into my special corner and kick my legs out. The space is a little smaller than I remember, but that's not going to stop me. I mean, I can go to the lounge, but it just wouldn't be the same. After a few hours of reading, my legs begin to cramp up. Okay, maybe I should get up. I don't remember reading hurting this much when I was a child. Losing the ambiance of reading in a dimly lit basement reading cove would be a travesty, so I'm going to find another spot in the library where I can settle in. I walk around for a bit, stretching my legs out. This library is pretty big, and while I know I can just plop down on the floor anywhere... Did I hear something? Don't jump scare me, bro. Okay. I don't like it. This decision is special. A well-picked reading nook makes all the difference. I gotta find like some secret room or something. Aha! My eyes land on an almost bare spot against the wall. There's a raised design on the bottom of the wallpaper, giving the wall a beautiful finish. I think I just found my reading spot. Yeah, I knew it. I lean against the wall and let out a small yelp as I feel a small vibration against my lower back. I quickly jump to my feet and notice the wall collapsing like a window in a car being rolled down. The creaking sound it makes is loud against my ears. I knew that was gonna happen. And I wonder when the last time this has happened. When was the last time this happened? The wall I was just leaning against is now an open doorway. A secret passage? Why would you even try to go in there? Why? Why? Don't you know that just means trouble? I wouldn't go in there. I would call the frickin' police. Have them go in there. If it screams, run. Yeah, run. I can't help but utter that statement out loud. I feel like I'm in some kind of movie. Did Uncle Walter know about this hidden room? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Okay, whew. I step inside of the secret room. Excited, but also scared to find out what's inside. It must be hidden for a reason. The room is almost barren. There's some bricks stacked neatly in the corner, and across from that is a simple wooden table with one chair. The only other things in this room are 3 giant boxes perched in the middle. Naturally, I want to see what's so special that it needs to be hidden away. I walk over to the center of the room and realize that the 3 boxes aren't boxes at all. They're cases. The tops of the nearly 6-foot cases give no hints away as to what could be inside of them. Though I can't help but think of all those vampire movies I begged my parents to let me stay up late and watch as a young boy. While these cases don't look like coffins at all, they're long enough that the first thing that comes to mind is that they house something or Someone or something that's the size of me. Whoever was trying to hide this treasure did a terrible job. The keys to the first 2 cases are still in their locks. There's really nothing stopping me from opening them and seeing what's inside. So I do just that. It takes a little strength, but I'm able to lift the tops off of both cases. Inside the cases lay 2 life-sized, jointed dolls. The first doll has long, vibrant red hair, with side-swept bangs and a dark maroon bow. There's a light tint of pink on her cheeks, as if whoever created the doll was trying to create the illusion of blush. Her dress is lavish with a corset Sorry, redo. Her dress is lavish with a corset design on the front, ruffles, and a large bow in place of a belt. She's absolutely beautiful. The second doll has the same pale skin and pink dusted cheeks. This doll has light brown hair styled in high pigtails, much more similar to younger girls in style. Her dress is more modest, reaching up to the top of her neck. Though more buttoned up, the girl's dress resembles her counterparts in style. They must have been made around the same time. If not for the joints on their elbows, knees, and fingers, I would think these girls were humans. The doll's eyes are shut, as if they're in a peaceful slumber. Something about them, perhaps their completely pristine outfits and bodies, seems untouched. These are not dolls that people played with. It'd be no shock to me to find out that these dolls were put on display, or were simply kept in their cases to be gazed upon. There's no way that my Uncle Walter knew about this. He would never keep such gorgeous dolls hidden away in some musty old room. I'm tempted to open the 3rd case, but the key seems to be missing from the slot. I tug on it tightly. I tug on it lightly, but nothing budges, so I leave it alone. I move to close the other 2 cases when I hear something. It's low, and it happens so fast that I can't help but wonder if it's all in my head. The clink sound is gone as soon as it arrives, and in its place is the piercing marble eyes of the dolls. If they opened their eyes on their own, I can't help but peer down at them, trying to figure out what could have triggered that reaction. Is there some kind of lever or button that activated when I tried to move the tops of the cases back in place? Whatever it is, I don't like it. Go away and bye-bye. Ooh, the only doll I like is my purple one. Come here, dude. You like him? He's my pride and joy. I love him. You're going to play this with me, dude. Is that okay? I hope so. I can't understand you, so. The first doll begins to move, sitting up as if she was awakened from a long slumber. She looks around the room, her red hair bouncing as she does so. We lock eyes for a moment, and her face twists in confusion. No, not another one. She mumbles this to herself, now carefully climbing out of the case she had just been lying in. How did she do that? How did she just do that? Not only did she open her eyes on her own, but she's got a very expressive face. Dolls can't contort their faces, or speak, and walk around on their own for that matter. Is she some kind of robot? Ah, good morning. My eyes snap to the other doll, who is now standing on her own, stretching her arms over her head. My name is Lottie, and this is Briar. We're talking dolls? I don't mean to cut them off, but I'm shocked. Yes, there's an explanation for all this. But I don't want to hear anymore. This is really freaky. I can feel the fear rising up within me, and I bolt out of the room without a second glance. I don't stay to see if the door closes behind me. Instead, I just try to get out of there as quickly as possible. I make it to my room in one piece. Once I ran out of the library, the footsteps behind me became faint. I don't think the dolls followed me, thankfully. Are they allowed to leave the library, or the secret room they were in when I found them? Just how much consciousness do these dolls have? Are they similar to robots in which they are operated by highly intelligent AI that can read a situation and respond? Or are they like battery-operated toys? How does... Yeah, you can see him. Oh, sorry, honey. I didn't mean to. There could be some sort of voice box within their hollowed bodies, and they operate through a remote control or phone app. Maybe because they're life-size, dolls have default functions like a Halloween decoration on display in a costume store. Yet all of these explanations seems implausible. Yet all of these explanations seems implausible. They don't take into consideration the fact that the dolls were responding to me effortlessly. The one with the red hair, I think her name was Briar, was talking to me. Unlike your average toy, she wasn't saying to play with her. Briar seemed upset about something. So how can she simply be a doll if she's able to feel something like worry or annoyance? Part of me wants to go back and learn more about these dolls. But then there's a voice in the back of my head telling me to stay far away. I have an uneasy feeling just thinking about these dolls. Because if I really think about it, the room that I found was hidden away. If these dolls were simply a benevolent treasure to whoever previously owned the house before my uncle, would they be stored away? What made these dolls come to life in the first place? Was it the collapsing door that triggered the reaction? I spent a lot of time in the mansion's library, yet not once did I hear voices or footsteps. These dolls weren't awake before. So what changed? I tossed myself onto my bed and buried my head into my pillow. I fight the urge to pull the covers out from under me and put them over my head. I feel like I'm in some kind of horror movie. I'm just waiting for someone to jump out and say that this is all a prank, that there aren't any realistic talking dolls. Though, I guess if I stay out of the secret room, I should be fine. Because if the door collapsing did indeed activate them, maybe when I left the library the hidden door rose up again and deactivated the dolls. I don't like that. There's a very loud pounding on my bedroom door. I can feel the bile rise up in my throat as my heartbeat quickens. Have they found me? Of course they have. Who else could be here? I look around the room for something that I can use to protect myself, or for a place I can hide, but I'm halted by the sound of a sweet voice. I recognize it as the voice of one of the dolls. Lottie. Her voice is so soft that it kind of feels like a blanket wrapping around me as I listen to it. For just a second, I forget that a moment ago I thought her to be menacing. Sir, if you'd please open the door, we can explain everything to you. I don't want to open the door. That feels too vulnerable. Instead, I follow my instincts and crouch by the side of my bed. I'm positioned in such a way that if someone were to force their way into my room, they would not notice me right away. While the common saying is fight or flight, I don't really see a way for me to run away. So instead, I'll hide and pretend I'm not here at all. The pounding only gets louder. This time, the knock is much more aggressive. I can only imagine the fiery red-headed doll on the other side with a scowl on her face. It's bizarre to think of that considering I barely know her. But she just looks as if she is capable of expressing herself in such a way. Don't be so stubborn. We're trying to protect you. If you just listen to us for 5 minutes, you realize this. This house is not what you think it is. We are not the only ones here. I feel a chill running down my spine. Can it get any more ominous than that? Now I'm wishing I'd spent more time reading horror books in the library, as opposed to mysteries. Then maybe I'd know the best way to react to a situation like this. He will not respond to your anger, Briar. Please, be a bit gentler. Gentler? How do you expect me to do that? He won't even open the door. Does he need to? He's probably listening to us anyway. So let's just say what we have to say and hope that he hears us. There's a moment of silence, and then I can hear the shuffling of feet against the wooden floor of the hallway. Fine, whatever. We don't know who you are, so forgive us if we do anything to offend you. Briar feels the same way, but she's a bit of a grumpy doll sometimes. I swear I can hear Briar scoff under her breath, though I could be imagining all of this. Anyway, I'm not going to tell you that this house is cursed or anything like that, but you do have to be aware of something, or rather, someone, very dangerous. I don't know if you recall the cases that you found Briar and I in. There's one more that is locked tightly. The threat lies in there. I do remember seeing that third case. Unlike the other two, which were easy to open and were displaying the dolls within them, the third case seemed much less inviting. There's another doll in there. She's similar to us, except she actually wants to hurt you. Her name is Adelaide, and now that we're awakened and you found the secret room, it's inevitable that she will wake up as well. Huh? What is she talking about? Every single night for the next 5 days, Adelaide is going to wake up, and she is going to be angry. She does not like anyone, and as such, she's going to try to kill you. But don't worry, Briar and I are going to help you stay safe. Stay safe. Frickin' talk correctly, mouth. Blech. Five Nights, huh? This seems awfully familiar. Perhaps it was inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's, but perhaps it wasn't. If it is, I'm not going to try to compare the two, because that's just wrong. The game is its own game, and that's the most important part. Okay. Oh, persist. Don't forget about the most important part, Lottie. There's only one way to get Adelaide to stop. Orders will be restored if you manage to stay alive after 5 nights. Of course, there's a limit to Adelaide's destructive abilities. She will only be able to walk around for a few hours before she gets too exhausted and has to return to her case. So this is like a survival strategic game kind of thing. We have to figure out where we're gonna like hide and stuff like that. I would hide in the fireplace, like right up there. It may not seem like long, but you cannot take that time for granted. Adelaide is much more dangerous than you could ever imagine. Briar speaks with such conviction that I feel the need to swing the door open and grab onto her arms. I don't, because I don't know if anything she is saying is true, or just some kind of story to get me to trust her and her little pal. Here you go. I'll have you sit right here. I mean, come on, 5 nights? It's always 5 nights. For 5 nights, something beyond scary is going to attack me, and if I survive, I somehow beat the nearly impossible game. I've heard it all before in movies and video games. There's no reason I should believe that what Briar and Lottie are telling me. See? See, Lottie? He isn't even listening to us. She bangs on the door once more. Hey, this is important. Just listen up. Adelaide is going to wake up in a few hours, and she's going to try to kill you. I can't listen to any more of this. If I stay here, will they go away? Probably not. They're dolls. They probably don't have to eat, sleep, or do anything of the sort, so there's only one way out if they won't move away from the door. I look at the window behind me. It's massive. There's no doubt that I can jump out of it easily. If I scale down the wall carefully, I won't get hurt. Whoops. I stand up as quietly as I can and tiptoe towards the window. Tiptoe towards the window. Slowly, I reach for the latch and unlock it. The jump down, it really isn't that long, so I'm not worried. Besides, this still seems like a better option than talking to those 2 dolls out there. You freaking idiot. You're going to get yourself killed. I'm gonna end that episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you guys. I'll see you Sprouts in the next video. I hope you Sprouts stay hydrated. It is very important. It is still flippin' hot here. Stay hydrated or else I will destroy you. No, I'm kidding. Excuse me. Whew. Love you all. Bye.